All right, so again, a quick good morning for some and good evening for others. Welcome to our advanced features, training, and updates for October. I don't know if anybody else is shocked that we are already in the early stages of October, but a quick welcome to you all. My name is Aviva. I'm the Client Experiences Manager here with AXUS. And today we're going to be focusing on two of our newest features. So we briefly mentioned what was to come in the pop-up that many of you saw within your AXUS accounts last week announcing this webinar. And we'll go through that as well. But a quick just bit of housekeeping. If anybody has a topic or a question, general topics that would be useful for all, please shoot me a message in the chat section with the final time that we have. I'm more than happy to take a look and we can grab a few of those items or those features to demo for everybody. Of course, if we don't have time, we can always do it on the next one, or you can just shoot me an email, support@axustravelapp.com, and I'll put that in the chat section of everyone's go-to meeting control panel, support@AXUS, AXUS, travelapp.com. So if we don't get to your question or we don't get to a feature request today, you can always shoot us an email or we can save it for next time. But of course, sending us an email will be a little quicker to get a response and you won't have to wait a month to see it. So feel free to let us know. We're always happy to help out. So I've gone ahead and shared my screen, and what you should be seeing here, I'm going to zoom in just to make it a little bit easier, is we have our main itinerary that we're going to be working with today. This, for our example, I've added the word proposal in front of my title. Of course, as many of you know, you can use AXUS for itineraries and also proposals. I've happened to just throw the word in the title, so this is our proposal that we're going to be using today as an example. And the feature we're going to first start to talk about is the ability to hide booking information from the traveler perspective. Now, this can be for either a proposal or an itinerary or anything that you're creating as an AXUS itinerary. You don't have to have it published. You don't have to have it unpublished. The ability to hide the booking information is going to come through no matter the status of your itinerary, no matter if your clients are looking at the online web view, the printable version, i.e. your PDF, or if you have published it and they're looking at it from the mobile app. So hiding it would remove it from all three of those perspectives. Now, let's talk about why would we hide an item, how we're going to hide items. First, I'll show you how, and then we'll kind of talk about the why. Let's say we have our proposal here and I haven't yet published it, but perhaps I will be sending my client the link to the web view. There could still be items that I am in the process of working on. Maybe I'm still finalizing a flight itinerary or a few flight paths for them. Maybe I'm still working on a few tour options. So I decide or I choose not to have that displayed on the client perspective until I'm ready to show it off. Maybe, again, there's just a few extra details we want to add before having them see that item. So what we're going to do is, we'll zoom in a bit more. I'm going to utilize the three dots icon, my booking action. And if you've already seen this, fantastic. If not, I'm happy to introduce it. You'll see that we now have added items to hide the booking from the traveler view, which, as we said, is the PDF, web view, and mobile app. Or you also have the option to hide it from just the table of contents. So hiding it from the traveler view would hide it from the day-to-day section of the itinerary as well as the table of contents. However, if we just wanted it removed from the table of contents, perhaps this is a large cruise and we've got a handful of ports that are taking up real estate a real estate space within the top part of that web view or the PDF, and we don't need every single port listed in the summary. That might be an item that I choose to hide from just the table of contents, but still have it show in the day-to-day. So you have both options here. For this example, let's go ahead. Let's hide the booking from the traveler view. And you'll notice that when I click the option to hide the booking from the traveler view, I get this little icon. It's kind of like an eye icon next to the booking that we have chosen to hide from the traveler perspective. So from at a glance, you can quickly go through your itinerary and you can see exactly what is hidden and what is open to your clients or what is available. Now, if we hop on over to our web view, so we've removed San Francisco to Sydney. Let's go over to the web view here. And I'm going to scroll down and you'll notice now on October 1st, we only have the first flight displayed, right? Because we've removed the other flight from San Fran to Sydney from the traveler perspective, which is the table of contents summary at the top and also the table of contents to the right. So you'll also see here that we only have the flight from Portland to San Fran again. And if we scroll down, just that one flight. But the San Fran to Sydney has been removed from the traveler's perspective. Now, once I've made the updates, once I'm ready to now have that booking displayed, all you have to do is again hover over the three dots and you have the option now to unhide the booking. So I give that a quick check. I also see that the eye icon has been removed. And if we go back to the web view and do a quick refresh, you'll see that it's now added back the San Fran to Sydney flight segment in the day-to-day, in the table of contents to the right, and let's go all the way to the top here, under Monday, October 1st. So that's a really nice option. Again, if you're still kind of working on pending items, outstanding items that you're not yet ready for the client to see, go ahead and use that hide booking option. The other item I want to show that is connected to this is we have had a handful of users request or ask if it was possible to remove that summary or the table of contents. So we've also added that feature for you guys if you choose to do so. Let's go back into our agent perspective, our editing perspective. And if you want to hide that overall summary or the table of contents as a whole, you're going to come up here where it says Edit Itinerary, your gear icon, and you'll now notice that if I scroll down, we've added a checkbox to hide all bookings from the table of contents. So that removes the table of contents to the right and also the summary / table of contents from the top right before your day-to-day of the itinerary begins. So I would just simply check that off and save, and then that would remove that portion entirely from both the web view and the PDF. It's not pulled through from the mobile app, so that of course is just related to the versions with the table of contents, again, PDF and web view. Okay, so just reminder that if you want to hide that section entirely, you would come to the gear icon, Edit Itinerary. Now, the other item I want to show, and we're going to go to our profile this time, is that we have added the ability to change the font style if you choose. By default, everybody is going to be on the default font, and that is the one that you are used to. That is the one we've used up until now. So of course, if you haven't changed any of the font, you will still be on the one that you are most familiar with. Of course, if you did want to adjust the overall font on the itineraries, you have the options here. And of course, we do show a quick preview on the right-hand side as well. But again, if you are fine, if you like the one that we currently have, you can just leave it as is, which is the default font. Okay, so I'll go back to my itineraries. I haven't seen any questions come through yet. So again, if there is an item that you want us to go over, this is your time to bring it up. We are always happy to kind of demo any general questions or any items that you've seen. I know on our last webinar, we talked about kind of going above and beyond your typical itinerary experience, collaged images, using external sites like aweather.com or AccuWeather.com to create a forecast, booking, or I know someone called it a widget, but it's really just the ability of using external sites to add more content and more excitement and features into your itineraries for your clients. So if there were any questions on that from last month, let me know. I can always go over it. Otherwise, always happy to hear if there aren't questions. It means we did a good job explaining it, but we can definitely discuss. I will just do a quick reminder because I know we sometimes get questions about the multiple images. So a quick refresher for those that did have questions. And when I'm talking about multiple images, let's go back to our proposal. By the way, quick shortcut for anybody, a nice Control F with the browser will pull up the search bar. So here, let's look up proposal. Here we go. And I'll go to our web view here. Okay, so just a quick overview on how to do the multiple images. There's several websites that you can use that are free. I know Greg last month talked about Canva. I personally use PhotoJoiner. And then I use their collage option. And it gives you kind of the 4 steps on how to create it here. So what you do is just click Create Collage. And then here you can choose the number of photos you'd like to use. You can choose it shows you here the image size, but what I like to do after I choose my number of images is I actually recommend going down to custom, because here we can add the dimensions that AXUS recommends for images. So we can get a really well fit image when we're uploading it into AXUS. So what we're going to do is we're going to key in 750 by 300 and click apply. You could even go around 700 by 350. Either one, I think 750 is the closer fit. So 750 by 300. You'll see that it outlines kind of the dimensions here, and that is the dimensions best for AXUS. And then of course, all you have to do from here is you would click add images, and that's how you can then add images directly into PhotoJoiner. Maybe you have them in your own library, your own images that you like to use. This will just pull from your desktop. Now, if I don't have images, I can quickly hop on over to trusty Google Images. And let's go ahead, we'll go to the images section. We'll do Hawaii for this example. What I always recommend, of course, if we're creating public itineraries, we want to go to our tools and our usage rights labeled for reuse. So this is going to show you now all of the images that are able, or I should say that are available to be reused. We don't have to worry about any copyright issues when we do that. And then the other kind of recommendation that I always like to give is under size. Go ahead and choose either large or medium. This will just ensure that the search results that you get are the higher quality images. You're not going to get any icon or teeny tiny images that when you do add it in PhotoJoiner or even add it in AXUS, if you're doing a single image, it doesn't blow it up to try to fit the dimensions. So I always recommend, if you're already here under tools, go ahead and choose either large or medium, just to be sure, again, you're not going to get stuck with a teeny tiny icon sized photo. And then we can go ahead and I can click on the image. I can do a right click to save the image as, just save it to my desktop. And we'll just do one quick one as an example. And then I'm going to click on that add images again, choose from my desktop, and you'll see that it loads it and it tells me to drag into PhotoJoiner. And you can drag in the different ones to see which one fits the best. And then once complete, we're just going to keep using that image for now. We're going to click Save. And then that's going to now generate one collaged image for you. So I always just do a quick right click, save the image onto my desktop, and then once it's on my desktop, I can upload it into AXUS. And now again, this is a really great option. Maybe I create several destination images that I go back to each and every time. I've already saved it to my desktop. So I've got one for London, one for Sydney. Maybe they're doing the West Coast in the US, so we create kind of a road tripping style one. So you can create different styles, different themes, different destinations, and then just save it in your desktop and reuse it each and every time you do a similar location or a similar style itinerary in AXUS. It's a really neat feature, and again, just gives you the option to go above and beyond in your itineraries. Okay, so I saw we did have a few requests about weather, currency converter, packing list. I'll show you guys kind of how we went about creating it. So let's get out of our PhotoJoiner for now. We'll go back into AXUS. I'll go into that proposal here. And then in terms of websites, I know part of the question was, are there any websites you recommend? I think we all have our favorite websites. There's really, personally, there's no difference to me between AccuWeather.com and Weather.com or any of the other currency converter ones. So if you have a favorite one, if you're an XE.com user, use XE.com for your currency converter. All these big external sites will all work the same, and many of them do have a mobile version as well, so it looks nice on the phone when when I click on the link to the currency converter for xe.com, that's going to look nice on my phone's browser as well. So I personally use xe.com. Feel free to try it out, see what works best for you as well. If we go into the itinerary, just to show you what we have under our pre-travel section. And these are all really great other/notes bookings. So when we go to create a new booking, we're going to use other/notes. It's more simplified. It's your miscellaneous, so you can really make it anything that you want. Most of these type items you might add in pre-travel or post-travel. If we did like a post-trip survey, for example, if I used SurveyMonkey or Google Forms, I believe Google has their own survey. Again, all we need is the URL at the top of the page, and that's what we're going to take in AXUS. So let's take a quick look, and we'll use our weather forecast. So just to show you what we did, we have a title, and we have notes. So all we did in the notes was I chose 4 terms, or for example, 4 locations. I used the linking icon. So again, all you're doing for that is you're highlighting it, clicking the linking icon, and then what happens is you get this box right here. That was our preview, but if you click edit, This is what will pop up when you highlight a display term and click the linking. You get this pop-up editing box here. So what we want to do is we paste in the URL and we click save. And that is what will create a live clickable link. And again, I can always preview the links that I have here just by clicking on it, and where it says visit URL, that would show me from the agent perspective, from my perspective, where that pulls them through. So now let's take a look from the client perspective. Okay, if we go down to our weather forecast here, if I click on the word Sydney, that's going to open up a new tab, and it simply pulls me into that weather.com URL. That would be the same on the mobile phone. The client clicks on the word, clicks on the destination that we've created this clickable link from, and it pulls them to their browser app on their mobile phone. So we've now essentially added a full weather forecasting feature for them within our itinerary. And again, from our perspective, it's super easy to create. We're just adding a destination, again, highlighting it, clicking the linking option, and pasting in whatever that URL is to the website. Just make sure you grab the full URL when you do it. And again, you can always test it by either clicking on, and from the agent perspective, from your perspective, clicking on the display term, clicking on the URL, or if you simply go to the web view, the client perspective, you just click on those live links regardless. One thing just to mention about the live links, because these are live, these are directing your client to their browser, their internet browser on their phone. Live links, clickable links, it does require a Wi-Fi or, of course, a data connection. So this feature that we're kind of creating, this weather forecasting booking that we've created, it does require internet. It does require a Wi-Fi or data connection, just as it would clicking on a website field, clicking on the address field. So that's going to work the same way, but always worth kind of mentioning to you guys just so you can set those expectations for your clients if they don't have Wi-Fi or data. Now, in terms of the currency converter, we'll open that up here. Again, we gave it a title. I don't have an address, phone number, or website. This is really just something where I'm utilizing that title field and the notes field. And here I chose to highlight the entire kind of display terminology and click that linked icon. So if we want to double check our link, again, I can click on it in AXUS. It tells me I can preview that URL. And here is the currency converter that clearly one of my colleagues put together because they didn't use my favorite xe.com. But again, it doesn't really matter. You want to use what is best suited, what works best for you. Again, if you have your own favorite websites, feel free to use them. Now, the other quick item just to show is feel free, you can always utilize the priority field. So maybe this was something I just wanted to create a little bit of emphasis around it on the client PDF and web view. I can give it a high priority, save, and if we go back to that web view, we've now added, does everyone see the gray backdrop with our accent color to the left? Still got a nice clickable link here, but we did add just a bit of an emphasis to make that item stand out. So perhaps you're building an itinerary and all of a sudden they're going international, they're switching locations. So perhaps I chose, maybe instead of putting a currency converter in the pre-travel section, maybe I put it somewhere within their itinerary later on. So this is also a nice way that if you are putting it within the day-to-day of the itinerary, you can put some highlight or you can just simply highlight it and have it stand out as here is a feature or here is an external site that you can use outside of the day-to-day flow of the itinerary. So sometimes that high priority really does come into handy. Again, if you are just either emphasizing it at the beginning of your itinerary or you're putting it anywhere within and you just want to create a little bit, maybe even like a little break within the itinerary, or just draw their attention to it. So again, feel free to utilize that high priority option, which pulls through to the web and the PDF. All right, and as I said, there's really no limit to these types of add-ons that you can do. As I've mentioned, I've also seen a short trip survey or a feedback link, Survey Monkey. We've actually used that one before within AXUS. So this is a nice, easy way to create an online tool that you can, again, it will give you a URL that you could paste in. As I mentioned, I believe Google Forms. Yes, Google Forms is the ones where you can create surveys for free. It would also give you a link or a URL that you would simply paste into your AXUS booking. So these are all options that you can use. And if anybody is creating other items, maybe that we haven't discussed besides currency converters or weather forecasts or post-trip surveys, I'd love to hear what you guys are creating. If you think it would be beneficial and you'd like to share it with others, go ahead and put it in the chat section. You can also email it to us and we'll discuss it maybe at our next webinar. But we always love to hear how you guys are utilizing AXUS, how you're using external sites and adding that into your AXUS itinerary. Everything from the currency converter to the weather forecast to the packing list. These are items that our users have shared with us. So we always love to hear about the different creative ways that you guys are enhancing your itineraries and really making them above and beyond. So feel free to always share that with us. Again, if you want to post it in the chat section, it's available to everybody on this webinar. I'm sure people would also appreciate your insight on how you go about your itineraries if you do want to share.